Hey everybody, Watch This Review here yet again with another look at a comic book. Now this here, actually manga, if you want to be fair about it, or technical, I'm not sure. I believe all manga is comics, but not all comics are manga, but you know how that is. Now I've been reading Yoshihiro Tatsumi. I apologize to the author because I obviously butchered his name. For a while now, I first found The Pushman and Other Stories in a local library. I then read Abandoned the Old in Tokyo, which features longer works, which are just frankly a lot more in-depth, a lot better. The art style is basically the same throughout, though. End up buying a copy of this for about $15. I also recently checked out Drifting Life, a manga autobiography. Yet, strangely enough, despite covering his romances and stuff, it never reveals who he ended up with. So, that sucked. It's kind of like... Actually, it's probably spoilers, but it was actually a really interesting look at his life and the times and the journey of how manga and his particular brand, which I guess is called Gekiga, once again, butchered that, sorry. Somebody out there will probably correct me, but... Now, I guess the hallmark of this is it's a more mature kind of manga. It uses a very simplistic looking art style. Same sort of stuff that you'd see from Osamu Tezuka and other titles. Actually, I think that's a nude shot. Did I show a nude shot? Alright, I don't think anybody caught that, but I think that might have been a nude shot, so... fuck, it's another nude shot. This has a lot of, nudity in it, but it's a really simplistic, cartoony nudity, so I guess if that's how you get your jollies, more power to you, but it basically deals with the plight of the Japanese, the working class, and so... Oh god, I don't want to show that one, but... The plight of the Japanese working class, and the despair and despondency and the disconnect of modern man. All done beautifully, all dealing with the various cliches and different types of people of that time. Now, this particular volume I picked up because there was one interesting story. Where is it? Ah, here it is. Unpaid. Which deals with a company owner, and the library copy I had 3 or 4 pages ripped out, so I couldn't figure out what the story was about because those 3 or 4 pages were vital. It turns out that it was a guy and a dog without a teeth. Yeah, I'm not even gonna go into that, but it was pretty vile. But once again, it wasn't like super offensive, it's just offensive content. But this one I also enjoyed because it shows the whole concept here of the fact these guys are like feel that they're hurt. When he looks over here, he notices that the cattle have roomier accommodations than the people crammed on the trains. In fact, the Pushman from the other volume deals with that. It basically deals with the people whose jobs it were just to shove people into trains, just to cram everybody in there, just to make sure everybody fit, because they didn't really have cars and stuff, and because this is just right out in the years following World War II during their Reconstruction and their industrialization movement. Even nowadays, I believe the trains are probably more popular just because, the cities are crowded and so forth, but it's really great stuff. I mean, this volume I particularly like, but the other volume's also pretty great. The first one, Pushman Other Stories. There are 2 other volumes out, I think, right now, besides the 3 that I've mentioned. I can't remember their names offhand. I do not believe I've read either one, but if you're into, like, the whole depressing aspect of life, and you see that this glass here is, 3/4 empty instead of actually 4/5 empty instead of a quarter or a fifth full, depending. Actually, that might only be a 6th fill, so it's definitely worth a check. Just in general, it's a nice thing. It's interesting. Just a lot of the mangas are basically like the American comics where you have a lot of action and so forth mixed in. You don't see as many comics in the US that deal with just the normal everyday aspects. I'm aware that there are some because honestly I've read them, but I'm just speaking of like the industry as a whole, no foul on either culture. Yeah, that's it. So talk to you next time.